Yes.
Everybody is, all thought is broken up into bits, like this nation, this country, this industry, this profession, and so on, as they can't meet. And it's extremely hard to break into that. Now, the second, but that comes about primarily because thought has developed traditionally in a way such that it claims not to be affecting anything, but just telling you the way things are. Therefore, people cannot see that they are creating a problem and then apparently trying to solve it. That is, see, let's take the problem. What problem do you like? Pollution, or the ecology. See, the ecology is not in itself a problem. It works perfectly well by itself. It's due to us, right? It's a problem because we are thinking in a certain way by breaking everything up, and each person is doing his own thing. Right? Now, therefore, the ecological problem is due to thought, right? But thought thinks it is a problem out there, and I must solve it. Now, that doesn't make sense because simultaneously, thought is doing all the activities which make the problem, and then does another set of activities to try to overcome it. You see, it doesn't stop doing the things which are making the ecological problem or the national problem or whatever the problem is.
I tried to measure a little shore over around 200 times, and I never reached to measure the reality of the coastline. In fact, I reached only the understanding that what I was actually measuring was defining myself more than actually what I was trying to define, that it was defining more the tools that I was using than the coastline that I was trying to encapsulate.
So the first thing we have to do in the long run is to look at our whole way of thinking, which has developed over so many thousands of years. I don't think it was the original way of thinking of the human race at all, but for many complex reasons it came about. Now, that means that people have to make they have to participate to make a cooperative effort to have a dialogue, a real dialogue in which we will not merely exchange opinions, but actually listen deeply to the views of other people without resistance. And we cannot do this if we hold to our own opinion and resist the other. It doesn't mean we should accept the other, but we have to be able to look at all the opinions as suspended, as it were, in front of us without carrying them out, without suppressing them. I think science has begun to replace religion as the major source of the worldview. And therefore, if science takes a fragmentary worldview, it will have a profound effect on consciousness. So, science is whatever.
Hello, everybody. Here we are again. Today we will be talking with Jelle Mastenbroek. Um, Jelle is a good friend of mine. We met almost like 10 years ago, 8 years ago. You can say hi, Jelle. Hello, Jelle.
Hello.
No. It's good. So we met, as I said, quite a while ago. Jelle is an artist. He works in the interface of art and design. He applied art and or autonomous design, and basically for him, I can choose, or but it's not for him to decide. I guess for you to. So labels are not something important for you. Jelle.
Not really. No, I like the flexibility between the to switch between both areas, and yeah, at the moment where I am at that time, or which person I'm meeting. So
That's nice. You do it consciously, or it's like, okay, I'm an artist, I'm a designer.
Depends if I see an assignment that's nice and it's an interior. I'm more of an interior designer, and if it's more an art kind of thing, I'm more an artist. So, but you have also in Dutch the difference between in English artist is
Yes.
more of a term that has the grabs them both, and in Dutch you have designer and an artist are like two separate, really separate things.
Yes,
So
yes,
it's a
definitely.
bit.
But also within the design, I mean, because I never understood that. I lived there 8 years. But then you have, sorry for the words, but the Antwerpen and
Mhm.
and the other one, which form giver. Form, no? I mean,
Ontwerper and vormgever. Yeah, I don't know the difference between those. They're similar, but like artist, like kunstenaar,
okay.
and designer or vormgever, they are like two separate things. Like in most other countries, they are more or less could go,
Yeah, one
same
way
or.
or the other.
The difference is not like that strict as in the Netherlands, so that's a bit of a.
So you cross between strict labels.
Yeah, I think they're getting less strict, but I found them sometimes quite strict.
Yeah, I agree. I
It's
agree. So you say that your current practice is now mostly in festivals, working for museums at the moment, but also that
yes,
you do also on the side of that you work within the board of Sectie-C.
yes.
So so let's say divide it into when you work on festivals and museums, you are artist or designer.
Depends on the festival or museum.
Okay. I like it. I like it. And how you would define yourself when you work as a board member in Sectie-C?
Um, it's just me as a board member. Just also, I'm also the same. So it's just, I think for me as a board member, I think it's important that a terrain like Sectie-C will exist in the future for Eindhoven. And our main goal of the board is to get ownership for the inhabitants or the people who rent there, because like I think in a lot of countries and in the Netherlands as well, you get designers in there, they make the area nice, and then we have to move again and go to another shitty place. And I think for 10 years now we built up Sectie-C, and I think it should apart or whatever, it should be
Part
of
of the
of
designers.
the should be from the designers and artists or the creative community over there.
I agree. I agree. I think
We call it a creative ecosystem.
okay. Interesting. I will come back to this, but before that,
Yes.
so actually we met in Sectie-C the first time. You accepted me as part of collaboration, or you were one of the ones that accepted me. Um, did the perception that you have on your practice change since then, or you had a very, let's say, pleasant and straight path to your future?
Mm, I think Corona changes a bit at the moment,
Okay.
and maybe having a kid. I don't at the moment. I don't sometimes always feel the necessity of the things you do that strongly as I used to.
Okay. But it's because, as you said, the kid came, and of course it takes a lot of your interest and intensity, or it's just it's a growing up thing, let's say.
I don't know. It's also more of the you see a lot of problems in the world, and then another chair or another installation of mine doesn't really help to solve these kind of things. That's sometimes I'm sometimes in a battle with that. Just
But to be honest, one of the things that I really liked about your installations the first time I came, it was the duty-free happiness.
that's what I always say. I'm providing object with duty happiness. Yeah.
No, I mean I think that it's a very it's humble, but it's at the same time it's very direct and very clear, and I think that definitely we need happiness, all of us. So please don't
Mm.
forget them. I mean I really like them.
That's true. That's true. That's also what I, in the preparation of what I, with the questions you asked, I also realized this that that's also really important. And You asked me also a video, and like this video of Elm Green and Dragstead.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe you saw it.
I saw it. I saw
I
it.
think that's
I will put it now. Wait.
like this
Where
moment.
is it? It's this one. Yes.
Yeah, they made an installation in Rotterdam, and a whole year long, every day on 12 o'clock, the same guy went out to the street, opened up this showcase, and then got out this horn and shouted across the main street of Rotterdam. It's never too late to say sorry, and I think
Yes.
just these moments are so nice.
But
And especially if they're unexpected. Like
yeah.
now in this video, they're the opening, so there are a lot of people around. But then, like you also have a movie of it just on a regular Monday, for example, and then he's doing the same. And that's the nicest thing, I think.
Yeah, and I think that it's very necessary. A lot of times, what I feel is that nowadays is very, let's say, the design is it has to do something very important. It's like this,
Mhm.
and then this just like this single gesture, it changes the day of somebody. I mean, I think that that's very nice. I actually was watching it, and
That's
I was like, what is going to happen? What is so like, but yeah. Well, when was this done? I don't know. I meant like I didn't.
2011 in my,
Okay.
if
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah,
it
probably.
right.
And then also the way he does it, that he just like he's superposed, and then it's like it's nice. I thought it was because when I saw it, I saw the link to your work also, like this momentary smile that you get on people. I mean, in this case, I can imagine that everybody's with the camera and they are very like critiquing art and so on, and then
Yes, no, I think this is, this is the opening, and then it's just it takes away a bit of the
the
like the
magic.
poetic. Yeah.
No, but it's nice, and I really like it that you send it actually because somehow when I as I said before, when I look at your work, I think that it's very necessary that we take that perspective. When you So in a sense, when I saw like the first project that I saw you, which was the socks, if I'm not wrong.
To get back on your question,
Yeah.
that's also what I think it's also because during Corona last 2 years I haven't seen any responses to my work,
Okay.
or not much. So that makes takes also the way that you create this moment. So then sometimes I'm gonna ask myself what the fuck am I doing? But yeah.
No, but I mean I think it's very important that as designers or as creatives that we work towards the public. At the end, we need some feedback. Otherwise, it feels very empty.
Empty.
Empty, exactly. I mean, I think that it's what it's valuable is that somebody reminds you in this case that it's nice and it's very pleasant to be there. I mean, to be honest, with all the 6 years, 7 years that I was in collaboration, every time that I was hearing your thing, I had a nice tone in my mind. It's been nice. I wanted to showcase a
Cool.
video that you made, or that it was made for you. I'm not sure. Where it shows a bit the way you work, because I think that it's very valuable, your approach also. It shows a little bit, and it's a video.
Curious which video you.
It doesn't show a lot. It's the beginning of only that I really. But it's basically you talking about the first. I will put it again so you can see it. And it's the moment where you when I see you with all these little tools, the soldering of the jeweler, the coin, the little brass. How do you see your work as an artist designer whatsoever, but towards materiality?
Like materials, more
Yeah,
of
yeah.
it's a tool. You get the message across. So yeah, like the story or the message, what you want to tell, also basically gives you it tells you most of the time also the material you need to take, or and uh, Yeah, materials for me is also I'm also looking always in a sound way sometimes to materials. So yeah, if you see a piece of slate stone, it can also be an instrument for me. So that's maybe a little bit of different approach, but I think also like sound is also a tool in a way to get the message across. So
Okay.
it's not for me in my work. Sound is not really the main goal. It's yeah, I started with it and I got asked. I get asked a lot for it now. So that's also it's also a way of how things go. But it's not always my main purpose to have this sound installation.
And how you make the choice of it? Like, if they ask you directly, of course. I mean, that's easy.
Yes, it's just now becoming also more of yeah. I cannot avoid it sometimes anymore because it's just my main practice in a way.
Indeed.
So yeah.
Because
And it's also a nice niche, you know.
yeah,
It gets. I think that's it. Yeah, that also gives me a lot of work and a lot of assignments because of yeah, not a lot of other designers do this.
I mean, I haven't seen. I don't know a lot of the designers or a lot, but I haven't seen at all somebody that does the things that you do. Especially if you look at it as a line, right? No, not like just like one object, one product that is like that, but it's more like this persistency on this kind of trickly, but also like I mean, we can say also the one that you did in the forest with the birds. I mean, at the end, it's not the same, but it comes together very nicely in your career. So I'm very envious of you because when you look at your Instagram, that I will quickly share it, like you see like a kind of a line on your projects, and that is very difficult to get this coherence. Also, you see the King of Holland in your Instagram. But there was a
True.
project.
That was.
There was
I
a
will show you. I'm looking up. I'm looking up a video. Just one of my last project. Right. It's
nice. Share
not
it.
yet on Insta.
Oh, we have an exclusive, exclusive.
Can I find this? I already showed it in a installation in yeah, Zutphen, a city in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And I wanted to do a project with shells because
You had shells
you
when
have this
we were
little
there.
shell. Yes, we had this little. You have this little shells from the Maldives,
Yeah.
and they are used. They are used as money back in the days.
Hmm.
In parts of Africa, Southeast Asia, China, they are used like that. Um, and during this research, during the shell, I found yeah, I made one work now with you have this regular shell of the sea of the Maldives, and then you have in China they had a lack of these shells because they were rare, so they could use it as money. So they got started making them from a bone, and then from stone,
Okay.
and then in bronze. And I have all these separate stages of them. I found them, and later on in the process, I found out that in the Maldives they have a currency, lari, and the coin has this like the edge is like
Yes.
really
Shell.
a ribble. Yeah, and if I turn it inside out, then I can make a shell again of the money. So like the circle is around. But with this installation, I tuned
I share.
you know the yeah, we call it the Sint Jacobsschelp, the shell where the coquille is
Ah, yeah.
in
Yeah,
always. I
of
don't know
course. Yeah. Shells in
like the
front.
shell for also for Santiago de Compostela. They use it as a
Yes, they did. I will share it now. Ah, yeah. Oh,
uh,
wow. Wow.
this is just a test setup. I don't know if there's sound in it or but I tuned like 30 shells and they are really tuned from A to D and like almost 2 octaves. and I can I can basically make every song with him. And there is a rhythm section behind it. You're hearing the music now, or
Yeah, I think everybody is. Yeah.
so that's the last project I did.
So I wanted to ask you. I will put this in the background while, but so
Yeah.
as everybody would be able to see, I mean, also with your cabinets, with all the work you do, it's very meticulous.
Meticulous. You mean precise or?
Yeah, precise with a lot of work, a lot of little details. It becomes like a craftsmanship of this, no? I mean, you have to make the notes, to tune them. I mean, it's how you envision this process, how you work. Like it's not like a quick and dirty, definitely.
No, no, it's not like Lucas. Sometimes envy Lucas in that because he can just well 2 bars to each other and he has a new thing. No, that's not my way of working. It's just uh, yeah, it's just the way it starts. Then I just start with the shells, and then from that, yeah, doing just the research which shells make sound, and then in the end, I think that's sometimes what they forget. That artists sometimes or designers that it also I think it should also look beautiful. So that's like it has a certain has a certain aesthetic. I think. Um, and so I was also try to put attention to that to the details because that makes the whole thing more attractive and gets the message across.
It's definitely true, and I agree that nowadays design with this meta aesthetics, it's a bit dangerous to some extent. But would you consider yourself a craftsman? I have a curiosity on that.
Craftsman, partly I think with yeah, with the soldering and things like that. Not a lot of people can do that. But it's also I like to work with my hands, so that's also yeah. I would never uh, only think of like how do you say make up the ideas and then let somebody else execute it. I don't like that. It's just
Yeah, I agree. I think that you do a great job in that also, because in a sense, you like to make it with your hands. As you said, you're a board member of Collaboration. Oh, we met there. What does it mean
Mhm.
to you, Collaboration or Sectie-C in a generic sense? Because I think that it's been at least it's been an
Uh,
important part for me when I met you. So
Collaboration is for me a place where where I can do these things. It gives me the opportunity, the space, and the possibilities. But also for me, it's also I think it's really important to have a group of people around you who are also working. Yeah, they feel for me always it feels like colleagues. Like they're you work together on your own thing basically. And yeah, I think I would be really sad to would be alone in a studio all the week long and don't see anybody else and working on your stuff. It's just it's not really healthy, I think.
believe me, it is.
What
That it's not very healthy and
to
it's
work
very
together?
lonely. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, now I'm in Barcelona alone. I do work with people and I travel, so that's fine. But the change to have like that environment, to having just a small studio by yourself, working by yourself, spending a lot of hours there, it's difficult.
you have the same like Corona. I think a lot of people, more people realize this.
Yeah, indeed. But I wanted to ask you a bit more on the history for the people that might not know what collaboration is or what Sectie-C is. So we are contextualized in Eindhoven, in the Netherlands. It's the design city of the Netherlands, let's say, or one of them, I guess. How does collaboration or Sectie-C start for you? For you, I mean, whatsoever.
For me, it started in 2010. I think I was. think the 8th or 9th member, I don't know exactly, or maybe the 10th member of Collaboration O at that time. Now I'm the last one of the first group. All the others are moved out or went to another studio, or yeah. And how it started? Yeah, it started basically in the crisis of 2010 with the financial crisis, because this terrain was empty, no nothing was happening over there, and then they set it up collaboration in one of these halls. We were we were also first in the place of Nacho, and then we moved here. And yeah, during basically now 10, 12 years now, it's already there. And the nice thing, it started during my studies. So when I was finished my study, I had all the possibilities to do and get assignments in, and have, yeah, like a good base. Because I already knew I wanted to be working for myself. So
You wanted, so you had a clear idea that you wanted to be like what you are now, let's say.
when I started Design Academy, I think already I wanted to know, I already knew I wanted to work for myself.
So I found a old video from Sectie-C. I will put it just for people to see what is collaboration. Uh, and I really like the video because it's the moment where they are, or I don't know who is it because it's very quick. I assume that might be Tito. I don't know, might be you.
I think so.
But they are making the signage of salmon. No, back and salmon.
Grote jongens werken samen.
And I don't know.
Maybe we work together.
I have a crush with that sign to be honest. And do you think that
With the sign.
yes, the image of like to be honest, when the first time I arrived, I was with the bike. It was snowing, and I arrived there and I saw that sign. I didn't know Dutch enough to know what it meant, but I had a good feeling about it to me, and I was very
Mhm.
welcome there. So I'm very happy about that.
Nowadays we get some questions about it, huh?
Yes, of course, because it's all the meta design. So of course, yeah.
Yes, but also with the boys working together, it's not
Oh,
really inclusive. And
indeed, indeed, indeed. You should change it, Yella,
yes,
and then you can keep this as a
we should.
history point. But yeah, I mean, at the end, yeah, it's fine. But for what it meant, I think that it was good. Would you? How would you describe the process?
Did you experience collaboration of the same? Like a place where
Wow. I mean, so for me, it was a liberating space. I mean, I'm not a great maker in the sense that I don't do great makings on my process, but I do need the making to make myself think. I arrived to Design Academy because I wanted to learn how to make better, and then I arrived to Collaboration O, and with the capacities that Collaboration O had, it allowed me to free myself. And you know that back then I was doing a lot of strategy work, but without
Mhm.
my hands working and the people there and seeing you doing your little things and all the people that was and past when I was there, like I don't know, I loved seeing how Casper and Dan were making like wood like proper carpentry and then like I don't know, so everybody like really everybody like had like an impact on my eyes, and I think that for me as a designer was very good. I really miss it, to be honest. I still miss it nowadays. I mean
Mm.
it's something that and I don't know if because I've seen things that are trying to be the same or trying to mimic here in Barcelona, like spaces that they are trying to at least to have a look alike. But it's I
Mhm.
when I went to visit it, it doesn't feel equal.
No, but you cannot. Yeah, you need a group of people. You need the culture, and that's you cannot
And also,
put that
like,
in a place.
to be honest, like the not only culture, but the not, I mean, collaboration as an association within Sectie-C was not a top-down situation. Uh,
Oh,
and that was very also very nice for me to understand and also to be participant of the of the whole problematic that it entangles, not to be a top down. Yeah, I mean, it would be easier if it would be a dictatorship.
has advantages, but also it disadvantages. So yeah.
Exactly. So how do you see the these advantages and disadvantages?
I only see it as an advantage. I think you should have. We have a group of 10 people at the moment. I think it shouldn't be bigger than that,
Okay.
because then, yeah, it's like I don't know what it is. 14 people. It was not always the nicest environment.
I remember.
But now it's I think like the last 5 6 years, it's so nice. It's just everybody just yeah, works along, and it's just yeah, it's a good place to be.
It is definitely a good place to
But
be.
did you find now in Barcelona the right way to between like the right balance between your study and the making with Lucas, or
I I'm finding it, or at least I'm closer to it. I think that it's. I mean, for me, making is it helps me think. So I need, and it's a very difficult position, and I guess that it happens to you also when you don't have a clear label that people can understand, or maybe it doesn't happen to you that much because I don't know. It happens to me at least that people don't know what I do, and I guess that it happened already when I was in collaboration. Other people was a bit doubtful of what I was doing most of the time. They were always coming to me, so it happens now, and it's difficult.
I think in the Netherlands, people more and more people understand what you do, but I think maybe in Spain it's different again, because yeah, this design thinking, this consultancy a lot. Um, I think more and more studios or more graduates from the design academy doing it
Yeah, yeah.
nowadays.
And
So
I
it's
left in
more.
the right moment, no? And I left when everybody was. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, here it's more difficult. Also, because when I say that I used to do strategy from a design perspective, people think that I was a management strategy. People think about KPMG and all these huge companies.
Yeah.
Then I say that I sometimes do exhibitions and I do like uh, I don't know, cane and bamboo things, and then I do installations, and then they get lost and they don't really understand.
Imagine.
But I think that it's also
Yeah,
part of the beauty.
if you're in a country with more conservative approach to design, then yeah, it's difficult to grasp that. That also can be a
Indeed.
bigger.
No, but I think it's also like probably like most of the design field, as you were saying, it's not only that it's conservative, which I think it is, but I think that culturally speaking, design and the value of design is much more widespread in the Netherlands than in Spain. And
Mm.
and I and I realized when I arrived there, I forgot when I was there, and I saw it back when I came back. I thought like, okay,
Mm.
this is very 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 different. I mean, we have
Do you want to change it, or do you have
no. I mean,
or is it difficult, or
I would definitely like to be part of the change, and I think that there's a
yeah.
generation like me that is not me only. It's like thousands of people that also studied abroad, also because of the crisis that you mentioned before, that
Mhm.
went away from Spain to study to learn other things, and then after 7 8 years, most of us or six, we came back with new knowledge, and then you arrive here, and I talk with a lot of people that has a bit the same feeling. The thing is that in reality, culture design and our niche of design, let's say, it's such a small practice that you don't really have a lot of power. I mean,
It's maybe similar. I was in Portugal last year for an exhibition, and they were still talking about like the Theo and Remy, and like the Dutch design from like 15 20 years ago,
yeah.
and they saw that as still as design. But if you go now to the design academy, they won't see that back anymore. It's just totally different, and yeah.
So that's a question that I want to ask you because, so well, there's two questions in one maybe. So I agree with you. I mean, here when it was funny when I first arrived to a university. Let's not mention which one, but when I saw the mood boards of the students, for example, it was half of it was design academy projects from not the same year, but like and then half of them they were like historical projects or like more commercial things and stuff. Um, and when I went now back to Design Academy this year as the first time after like a lot of time that I 6 years or no 4 years that I haven't been there, so I saw a very differentiated approach to design for from
The graduation, you
yeah
mean?
from the graduation show in Design Week. Well, what is design nowadays in the Netherlands?
What it is? I don't. Difficult question. Uh,
Or let's break it down if you want.
I
What can be designed in the Netherlands? Because I think that it's very differentiated.
I think it's really broad. You have a lot of different disciplines and a lot of what I see if what I see in the graduation, I see also there's a lack of like the making part. Like it's sometimes so poorly executed and that the message doesn't come across visually, and that's I think it's something we need to work. I think the design academy should work on, because it's yeah, social design is nice, but it's also need its aesthetics or
Yeah.
whatever, it needs work on that as well. So
Yeah.
that's a bit of uh, concern, or I see it as a bit of a problematic.
I agree. I mean, to be honest, I'm not the best aesthetics in aesthetics, but
Yeah.
but I do realize that there's a lot of like blobs, A-forms, meta design that. But maybe we are getting old, yellow, and we don't understand it anymore. Who knows?
I don't know. I think it also goes in maybe waves.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
probably.
have. I think it will come back, because you cannot leave this out. I think, but that's my opinion.
So there's one thing that we like the Netherlands. It's clear. I think that one thing that you don't like of the Netherlands is food. I want to talk about this. I
You want to talk about this?
no, I want to talk about this
Oh.
because I think that since I've been doing these conversations and plenty time before, food has become for me something very similar to design. So the way they approach to it, in a way that it allows me to express myself, in a way that it fulfills me. I mean, it has all the
Mhm.
same qualities, and I see people taking food very different ways. And I wanted to ask you. I asked you what was your favorite meal, uh, and you.
I think food you could see it as more as a like a Bauhaus thing in the Netherlands. Like it's really functional, and that's basically it. I think so.
Yeah,
That's yeah. I don't. It's just a bit tasteless for me. So that's.
but do you like to cook?
I like to cook a lot. Yeah, it's I like it a lot. It's yeah. It gives me a lot of how do you say? If I come home and I just cook a meal, it gives me also a lot of relaxation. Like give me a moment to just yeah.
Yeah, I think, and as I remember, you like to cook a lot of Asian food, right?
Asian, and sometimes I have a period I like Mexican food, and then
Sure.
just sometimes I found a new ingredient or a new recipe, and then I also never make the same dish twice.
Okay. Here you have a problem of
I
doing
just
things twice, eh? Like watching
no, yeah,
videos
it's
twice.
just it's just that I make it, and then I just think, oh, this would be nice, and then that would fit together, and then the other day, oh yeah, how did I do that? I forgot. And I make something new. It's just the way it goes.
Okay, so let's put it in the context of design, but keeping this reflection again. I mean, do you think that are you creative when you create, or is or creativity doesn't come with the making?
Um, Depends on the project, but mostly for me, I have quite a clear image of what it should be,
Okay,
and um, but it's also, for example, the shell project, like the mechanical part of it. Um, it's mostly the function, also how it should work and how it will work. Um, um, they say um, decides how it will look.
okay,
Um, but then the outside, the shell from this whole project, that's just basically what I like. And then, for example, the inside of the cabinets as well, that's just all more functional. I try to do it in the most aesthetic way approach to it, but the first thing is need to be function, because if it doesn't work, it's the whole experience goes away. So Yeah. It is a bit of a different project that doesn't work like that. Here is more the first part is um, yeah, the safe is just was the first part, and then I get the whole, I don't know, the whole story behind it.
But when you do these kind of projects, whether it's the shell or whether it's these cabinets,
Mhm.
does creativity come from making or the Robin, which I will show now? I mean, it comes from making, or how? What do you think? What is creativity for you? Let's put it in that way, and it's easier.
What's creativity for me? Oh, I think that's a difficult question. I think
Indeed,
creativity can
indeed.
be in a lot, but I think it can be in a lot of different things. I think if you're a mathematical person, it's also really creative because you have 1,000 ways to solve uh, uh, the same thing. You know, it's just writing a text. It's just yeah.
So what is
Yeah,
it?
for me, I have this. Then I sit in a concert. This one came up in with me. I saw a concert with a lot of people who were on trumpets and things like that, and I saw, oh, it wouldn't be nice to make an installation where I blow air through flutes, you know? And then this festival Ural asked me to make a installation in the forest, and then okay, now I want. Now I'm
Now I
gonna
have
put
it.
this idea. Now I have the context to get this thing there, and then from that I just look up all the bird flutes and the I make it work basically.
So
Then yeah,
basically,
it's a long.
what you have is like ideas, and then you find an institution or a context that helps you put them together. Or am I wrong?
It's yeah.
And what's the relationship that you have with these kind of institutions? Is like a
Um,
client, or it's like a cooperation, or how it works?
like this festival Ural just asked me, can you make an installation for us in the forest? That's basically the question. Yeah, it's like really simple, and it's when the electrical factory they asked, "Can you make a installation in this building?" And it was a huge building, like 60 meters by 50 meters and 60 meters high. It was really
Oh, wow,
huge.
that's
It was an
huge.
old electricity factory,
Okay, and, and that's
and
which project is it? Is the data orchestra?
yeah, electro world.
Yeah.
Um, And there, yeah, because of it was electrical factory, you had this concrete floors that were 3 meters thick, and all the tubes that went through, they all got them out, and now they put metal plates on top of on this concrete holes.
Ah,
So you had
okay.
like big holes. Uh, It was a perfect situation for this project. But then I also got asked, yeah, can you make a project with this building? And then the first time I came in, like, whoa, fuck, this is help. This is big. And then in the end, yeah, the sound works. It's just quite small. In the end, the whole thing is can fit in a crate of 1 by 1 for the
Oh.
whole installation. So, but then it's yeah.
But then so you basically get asked most of the times, or do you also, like as a designer, apply to think how does it, how you find your clients, let's say, in a general way?
For example, with this Electro World, I made the entrance of Sectie-C first, and that I did it with Sander Wasking. I did that. Yeah, we proposed that ourselves and did it
Okay.
ourselves, our own initiative. And from that on, I got asked to do this big building as well. So that's basically most of the time. I also the cabinets. The first one I made as my graduation piece, and then yeah, like a museum or another gallery comes to me and then ask me, can you make another cabinet or yeah.
And do they give you freedom, or is like, can you make me a cabinet that fits here, or how it, like, how do you feel it?
Like it depends also on the museum.
Which is the one that you enjoyed most working with? You don't have to say the name if you don't want. Nobody is watching this, but
Oh, it's just different. It's different. Sometimes it's also nice to get restrictions because then the solution of the outcome will be different than what you expected because you get challenged. For example, the cabinet van mij over rozen gaan.
ah, yeah.
It's a it, it's a big cabinet
It's a huge
in
cabinet.
for the porcelain museum, and they asked me to make a cabinet for their entrance, but they wanted to be black. That was the it needed to be black, and they in the propose they photoshopped my graduation piece black, and I thought, oh yeah, he can paint the cabinet black, and then I said, yeah, but why paint it black? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I uh, then I yeah I start to think of how there should be a story why it should be black. It cannot be black just painted because it looks nice. I don't get that. You know, that shouldn't be the way. There should be a reason behind it. So I found this rose porcelain,
Yeah.
Familia rose, and you going over roses. I think it's also an English saying, but in the Netherlands you have a saying that's the opposite of it.
Going over roses? I don't know
Um,
this saying. Well,
ja, what is it? What did over rozen gaan? It's in Nederlands. In Dutch, how do you call it in English? Look that up.
but what it means?
Um, wait, I will look it up. Like the cabinets with black seat, and with this black seats, you have it's a if you're sitting on black seat, that's a Dutch saying that you are broke, basically.
Ah, okay.
And And in this cabinet, everybody can go over roses. That's basically the outcome of the whole thing. So then if you then cover it with black seats, it's the whole story is fine with me again. You know, that's a bit of
Exactly.
the.
So you basically work, but you not only did cabinets, you did other kind of installations that when we saw, and also, I mean, to be honest, the only project that I see lately that you didn't deal with sound, or I'm not wrong, are the mirror sur la mer.
Nah, also the if you have this little card of money,
Ah, it's true. It's true. I didn't see. I was
and the mirrors, yeah, it's true. A lot of projects of mine are with money, yeah, of with sound. I mean.
and when it comes the decision making, let's say, this was a project that you did by yourselves, I imagine.
I did it with Dutch and Virtuals.
That's true. Oh my god, you work a lot,
It was a couple years ago. It was with the movement was the main topic. So I came up with these two mirrors.
So for you, coins, music, and movement. Let's put it like that.
I think I also like the topic of money
Yeah, that's why I
and
wanted to
state.
go with the book that you suggested me. This book of symbols of power,
Mhm.
10 coins that changed the world.
Yeah, you asked the reference, and this was just came up. I'm reading this book now because
Okay.
I just it's a book where you have they take 10 coins. For example, the drachma, the shekel, the lire, the franc, um, how they came to be and how they died out. Basically, the history of these 10 coins around the world. And you get I know it just gives sometimes nice insights of I don't know. Sometimes you have this nice symbolic things behind it. Then I get some inspiration out of that, and
Okay.
that's
I thought like that was a perfect book for you, to be honest. Because I remember that the last time that we met, you already talked to me about the shells and how they were making money out of it. And I thought like, oh, it's a perfect. You were like, what kind of reference you want? This is the perfect reference. And I think that to be Dutch also, it's very good money that you put in the table. To be honest, you
what do you mean?
I think that you're a very commercial culture.
In that way.
Yeah, yeah. But I do appreciate it. I think, and I wanted to ask you the relationship that you have with the many institutions that you deal with, also collaboration, oh, but also Sectie-C and the board. How do you experience? Like, how do you engage with them? Is it always like? It's not always. It's not in terms like that they ask you a project, but in terms of do they consider design as a important thing? What how it's perceived, your role as a designer, or it's like a top down most of the times? How do you feel when you engage with an institution?
Uh, yeah, it depends on which institution. It's just
Like you. And wait, let's say, let's put it
uh,
differently. Are you comfortable dealing with them? Not because of how they are.
sometimes, sometimes not. Depends on the also depends on the institution again.
Okay, I will not. I mean, I think that in the board, I think that you feel comfortable. Am I right?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I think it's important to have this part in my yeah in my practice. I think it's also so meaning to yeah to a lot of things in a way.
Well, I think that you do a job in that sense, and let's say that you have a network because you said that you work with Sander. You I know that you work with many other people also that helps you do the sounds installations and
Mhm.
technical and so. Uh, what kind of it's a reciprocal? How do you work? Do you hire them? Are they? How does it? How does it go?
Um,
Or you collaborate like
like
in?
with Sander was a collaboration. Yeah, last year I did a collaboration with Tom Franke. He made the cabinet and I made the inside, for
Nice.
example.
I didn't see this
Uh,
one. Oh, I will.
no, it just yeah, just in the office
Oh,
from a company, so
okay.
it's not out there. Mm, and I love most of the times I do it by myself. Most of the things, and I work with a programmer who is also quite musical, and of he understands the way of making music, so that's really nice.
Okay.
Um, yeah, because it's such a long process, I also try to do most of the things of I need to do the most of things myself in a way, just because otherwise it's just not feasible to this project because of
Okay.
the yeah.
But let's say,
I don't know what will happen, with the
yeah.
bird flutes. I have no idea how. Yeah, I cannot ask somebody else. Yeah, can you make me 15 bird flutes that work on a compressor? Yeah, it's just
I think that it will be very nice the conversation that you can get with
nice
it.
question. Yeah.
No, but I think so. You're because sometimes I see you like a little inventor. I mean, you just like invent the little machines that does make noise and make things. But at the same time, when I see you, like you're very methodical on the process, right? I mean, and that's why because I seen you working with this programmer and it works pretty much. So you are pretty much structured in your work and
That maybe comes because that not the process is not the. I know what the outcome will be.
okay.
I know it will be a flute installation with 15 birds or maybe 14. I know depends on the flutes that will work on the compressor, but I know there will be a compressor there, and I will there will be flutes there. So yeah, then it's only just making them, and then it's just quite straightforward for me.
And how you reverse engineer your time, or how do you work on your let's say you have an idea, you have a visual idea, how you work on the
And not the visual idea, more the what the installation will be,
yeah the concept
what
yeah
it will tell, and what it will do.
okay
And the visual part will come from the technical part, and then yeah, and the necessities of that. Yeah, it doesn't need to be outside or I don't know, inside or the yeah, and also the context. I think it also gives you a lot of information how the installation will needs to look or will look.
would you so therefore you're very it comes aesthetics comes from context concept and idea no
For example, the bird flutes. Like there was a theater festival, and the flutes needs to be on. They need to be the kind of a podium or something. So I
okay
made 15 little podiums where they stand on. So yeah, it's like then the theater festival gives me this podiums, and then yeah, it just needs to be a kind of logic in a way for me,
okay okay
or a reason. That's
so you're a rational designer that makes duty free happiness
If you want to,
I'm trying to label you. I'm just like.
if you want to label it like that, I'm fine with that.
Oh gosh, I've been trying. I've been trying hard to label. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I wanted to ask you. I mean, there's something that it's actually Zeno asked, and you said before that that you heard it. So, but basically, I think it's a very nice question actually that we should all make ourselves. Uh, you don't know Zeno, but Zeno studied with me, and he asked
I
you.
I know his face. I saw him. He's from the
Yeah,
design academy as
yeah,
well.
of
Not
course, of course. He studied in contextual, and then after he did social design, and he asked me to ask you, how would you explain to students that he's going to teach the good and the bad parts of design, entrepreneurship, autonomously, and being honest, but not crushing them down. Basically, he said. So, how would you explain that?
yeah, I like it a lot. So, but that's
But that's not an
my
explanation, Yella.
experience. Um, can you repeat the question one more time?
Yes, but how would you explain to students that are in design what it means to be an autonomous or entrepreneur or like a worker designer whatsoever, that you don't work for a company, let's say, the good and the bad parts
Mm-hmm.
of it without crushing them down in the terms, because I think that Zeno was like, okay, I have many more bad things that happened than good things, but I don't want to to be crushing them down. Let's say
Mm. Uh,
you can say the good things and then the bad things, and that's it. I mean,
yeah, I just like the freedom of it. What you get as a being self-employed and working in that way as a designer. And yeah, that's basically the main thing I think. Because things I make now, I cannot do that anywhere else. That's also uh,
do you think that you need to be?
um,
It is a vocational thing, let's say.
like what a
I don't know how.
vocation.
Yeah, I think I invented that word from Spanish, maybe. That it's a discipline that comes from your insight, let's say, not from learning or something.
Yes, that's maybe what I think, what I see sometimes with other designers, that if they don't have this drive, then just don't do it. Just yeah, but yeah, because you're only torturing yourself. If you don't have this drive to really change the world, or do it for yourself as well, then it's just, then don't do it. Don't just don't do it.
And the bad, just a bit more bad. Let's say, what are the bad parts of actually, or how do you experience the
You
bad
need to
parts?
work a lot. You need to work a lot, especially in the beginning. Yeah, put a lot of projects out. You need to build up your portfolio, and that just takes a lot of time. But the nice thing about that is also, if you really like it, then it's also like yeah, you don't mind doing it. If you don't mind, if you mind doing it, also, then just don't do it. It's just that won't work. Yeah, this is.
I agree. I agree. I think that it's. I mean, it's obviously depends on what kind of design you want to become. And as we said before,
Mm.
there's the labels as many as you want. But
Yeah, what you told me in the before, that you're gonna make a book with Lucas. If you won't get anything out of that in the beginning, maybe like in 5 years, or maybe even not. But it's just you want to do it. You know,
yeah,
that's the.
no. But I think that most of the times, and especially when at least I will go to my own memory when I was studying in the bachelor. The references that I had, they were like these star designers or these big. There was not that much, at least in my culture, like
Mhm.
small studios that I could relate to. Small. So basically, the image I had was like somewhere over the sky and beyond, and the image that they were putting outside was also very beautiful. So as I what I saw in the
Yes.
first years of my practice, what I lived. I mean, to be honest, if you don't have the thrive, like you say, just don't do it.
Yeah, but I think that's also not a good like there will be a few. of students or the graduates who will do that, but it's getting less and less as well. Eh?
Yeah.
It's just, I think, something from the past as well. So yeah, I think the world doesn't work anymore like that.
Well, I think that we were talking with Lucas precisely that you mentioned him before. Like in Spain, for example,
Mhm.
the communication agencies that talk about design, or specifically printed magazines and so on, they come
Mhm.
from the interior design world, and not that much on the culture of design itself. So it's very difficult to present a different position than the designer that is making furniture that works in.
But I think it's the same as Milan. I think
Yeah,
Milan will also be
exactly.
getting less and less important because they don't really change with the social design or whatever. You know, it's not, you don't see that in there, and it's just
And what do you think that would be a smart move then?
as a starting
Yeah,
designer.
yeah,
Fun. Yeah, it's a bit of two ways. What I would say as a kind of like what I would do is find a niche and diversify yourself in that niche.
okay. Find the niche and
So
diversify
uh,
yourself in that niche.
if you do if I look at myself, I find
Yeah,
a niche in sound.
yeah,
But I work with galleries, I work with museums, I work with interiors. So I get revenue from a lot of different sources, and that's also yeah, that it's gives you a lot of also freedom in that way. And
definitely. But that's a very, it's a step, it's a steep process, let's say, no? At the beginning, as you said.
uh,
I mean, you have,
it's a lot of work in the beginning, yeah,
yeah, it's okay.
a lot of free time, and then goes in there, and yeah, the way
I
for you
rem
it's the same
I,
probably.
I
Yeah.
remember the Saturdays, mornings and Sundays where when sometimes in collaboration there was nobody but Jelle and Juan. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as you said before, if it comes from the inside, I never mind putting hours also, but I do realize nowadays that that also like the intensity, it's also something that is being more taken care of, so that don't burn people up and so on. So I think that they have a very difficult times also for the problematics that they will have to face. They are more and more.
I think what I've seen, if I look at Eindhoven, like with the rising cost of everything,
Yeah,
living and energy, and it's way more difficult to find even a studio, and that's a thing of yeah. It's also a concern of mine, and I also like to see if we can get a place in Sectie-C where you have like this. I think that would be the greatest thing if we have also like spaces in Sectie-C that are cheap, always cheap for starting designers, and then they can be there for 5 years and then they can move out to another place because they establish them well or find a good way, you know, just
I think that that would be very valuable, and I think that it will give a lot of respect to what it meant Sectie for many people also in that sense, no?
yeah, but that's where I was talking about in the beginning. You have
Yeah,
this
yeah,
ecosystem because I also need younger designers around me, and the younger designers need all the designers around me as well. You know, you have this uh, yeah, that works the best because yeah, you help each other basically.
definitely, and you also you motivate each other, you learn from each other. I think that in that sense, would you, because I don't know if it was with you, but I remember we talked about collaboration as being a incubator somehow, and that it could happen
Mhm.
that whether I arrived and left, and I learned a lot in the process, and I hope that I left something behind. Would you see something as an idea for Sectie also like that? And I say Sectie, but in any creative. Where people collaborate or like a co-working. I mean, that's the thing that you think that it should work.
Uh, I think yeah, this I don't know. I don't know if Sexy C will be a small. I don't think it's a small scale of collaboration of a bigger
No,
scale
no,
of
of course
collaboration.
not. Of
No,
course
because
not.
it's this Sexy C works also because you have the craftsman. You have this laser studio. You this all these things together. Then it works. The photographers, you know. that works. But collaboration, no, I think what I like is also that that you see people coming. And now we have just two new guys just graduated from the masters, and
Nice.
it's just nice to see them working again, and they bring another energy again. So that's also important.
And for the whole Sectie-C, then you were saying, like, I guess that it's like well, it's just like a small city for those ones that don't know. Uh, do you like the different kind of ventures that exist and how they coexist? How it is something that you're working on as a board member, I guess.
Mhm. I think a community or like a ecosystem like that is important for a
Yeah, yeah,
city because they
definitely.
make also the city, or they give, how do you say, the um, like a cultural relevance to Eindhoven. It's just if you don't have these spaces, then they say Eindhoven is a design city of the Netherlands. Then yeah, you need also the dirty places. Like Stripe went totally wrong in that way. They wanted to be that way, but it's just a living neighborhood at the moment. So
Yeah,
no, it's just, and I hope that they want to also build houses on Sectie-C, but I think it should coexist with the ecosystem, and then it's fine.
I think it's fine. I think that as long as it acknowledges the history and the value of it.
Coexist. I think you can have you need a kind of buffer between
Yeah,
it where you have makers and people who live there and make, or something like that, where you have
I hope that you achieve it, Yala. I'm sure that you are pushing for that. No, really, really, because I really believe that it makes sense what you say. Also, like I was afraid because the last times I talked with people there, they were saying also these approaches that they want to build houses, and I mean, when I left Eindhoven, or when I arrived to Eindhoven, basically Sectie-C was a gypsy camp. I understand that it needed some more, let's say,
the buildings also need upgrades.
exactly.
They're
So
falling apart.
I
So
understand that, but I mean, a city like Eindhoven, I think it lost a lot of things by gentrification in a large scale. But I think that a space like Sectie-C should have a coexistence in between the new and the old, which it's very relevant. So that's my point. I don't.
and the nice thing now, the municipality is also in a way realizing this, that they if they cut all the dirty places, like I mean dirty places like
Yeah,
where you can have sewing tables and things like that, like the workshops. If you take them all out, then yeah, you take out of a lot of other things as well.
yeah. I will decide, but I'm sure that too. I'm sure it will be better.
I think it won't happen.
Yeah, yeah, it will happen. I mean, it will happen because Eindhoven
Won't
did a very smart move back in the days, and I'm sure that they will realize that they need other smart moves in that sense. I wanted to ask
happen.
you because it's about time that I leave you with your beautiful daughter and wife, or partner,
The sun.
son, not son, sorry, in English, sorry,
No problem.
Misha, Misha. So I ask you a question from Zeno, and then tomorrow there's Ines Sistiaga, which is a girl from Barcelona that also studied in the design academy. Actually, she did the bachelor like you, not like the master like us. Would you like? What would you ask her? You don't need to know her. You know more or less who she is, of course, but she's a specialized textile
No.
designer. She also did jewelry in the
Ah,
past, actually. But
hmm?
nowadays she's specialized in textile design. She will explain herself better. Um, but what would you ask another designer, whoever it is? What is curious for you? Something that you think is relevant?
Um, think about that. I knew she lived for like 2 years behind after graduation in Eindhoven, or sort of around that, and
Yeah,
then she left to
1 year.
Spain
Yeah,
for 1 year.
yeah, and then she left to Spain.
So is it difficult to get um, like a company or a design company to start a design company in Spain like that?
She didn't
Just
start.
curious
She
how
will
it.
explain, but I will ask her. I will ask her because she knows a lot about it. Um, but I think that yeah, you would like to hear what she did. Actually, it's quite interesting. She did a lot of projects. I mean, she's working.
She had also had a stimulating fund or not?
I'm not sure. Oh yeah, she did a
I
text.
thought yeah.
She did the
Yeah.
tech deal work. I don't know if it was with the stimulating fund. I think that what she got the she can ask after. That's a last good question, yeah, about the stimulating fund, about the funding that exists in the Netherlands in a generic way, also exists in other countries like the Belgian. How do you see that important for the culture of design?
That you have that. I think
Yeah,
it's I had it as well,
yeah.
and it just um,
Oh, wait a second.
it gives
For those who don't know what the stimulating funds are or Mondrian funds whatsoever, they are.
probably in Spain you don't have this, or
Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Just asking. Do you have a
Yes, yes, yes.
system, or do you have a kind of subsidy system or whatever in Spain to
There,
help designers or creatives or?
there are mostly they come from private foundations. Public, there's
Mm.
some of them, but they are not as interesting. Let's put it simply, and not to put myself in problems. Not as interesting as in the Netherlands. They are also not as approachable, and they are not. They don't have that much visibility either. So if you get it, it's not the same importance as might be getting a stimulating fund. They don't give the same support to the person that might get it.
Mhm.
Also, because in general, as we said before, the culture of design it's not as spread in the sense, or let's say that the the
No, but
special
it's not
value.
only with design. It's also with artists. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
you have a fund for designers in the Netherlands, and you have a fund
I
for
know, I
artists.
know. I was talking about designers. I mean, there's funds that you can approach to. But
Mhm.
it's simply that the whole ecosystem is not as invested in making the whole thing system of design and culture and arts work. So then you have to go
Yeah.
more towards in private foundations might be
That's maybe then a question for her. Would she be able to get her practice off the ground without the stimulating fund?
I would ask him if she can. Yeah, I would ask him.
That's just curious. If she would have done that in another country, I'm just
Yeah, yeah.
curious.
I will ask her. I think it's
Or how
interesting.
it would have how it helped her, because I knew it helped me a lot.
Yeah.
So that's
I mean, all the people that I talked that I know that got it, they are very thankful. I mean, once I hope I will contact Nacho one day because once we talked about it, when he got it,
Mhm.
that's like
Yeah.
prehistory of design in the Netherlands almost.
Mhm.
That basically he said like, I mean, he's from Valencia, he's Spanish, he went there, he got this grant. He said like, look, I think it's very smart from them. I get the grant, I grow my studio, I can do my practice. I do well thanks to the grant because I can afford to make nice things with nice materials, with nice tools, with people paid. Then after 2 years, I don't get the grant, but I pay the taxes of having the big studio.
Mhm.
I mean, I think that in a rational sense, you are promoting your own designers, you're promoting people that did good in a certain level, and you make sure that that ecosystem works so it can actually fulfill their economical interest in terms of politics.
Mhm. True.
Good,
Yeah, it gives you a lot of freedom and opportunities to make your and get it off the ground. So that's
indeed. I wanted to ask you for the last thing. Do you have any question?
no.
I just wanted to thank you. Yeah, I mean it's been too long actually. Well, we saw each other this year, but it's been long. I really like talking to you. I really enjoyed how you welcomed me, and of course we and whatsoever. But how you acted as a patron for collaboration when I was there. I think it was very nice, and I have a very good memory of that. I want to thank you for the time that you spent here. Um, and I don't know. That's it for me. I think. If you come to Barcelona, I will cook you nice Mediterranean food. That's for sure.
Nice. And let me know when you're in Eindhoven. Then we should meet up.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
You have plans?
it's summer coming. That's possible that I go. I mean, you know, like
Get too cool.
winter time, you will not see me there. That's fine. Summer, I will come. Yeah, it might come because I want to do some things. So I will let you know, and hopefully, yeah, see you soon. Thank you very much.
See you soon.
Take good care, Jelle.
You too. Bye bye.